Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Hi everybody, it's Doreen, and I'm back as promised with the video showing how I go about creating a card and designing a card on my Gypsy. Now that we've gone through all of the tutorials, you should be able to create this card too. So, and if you have any questions, feel free to PM me or leave me a comment. So, the cartridges I've decided to use, and what I usually do is, lots of times I write out how I'm going to do this and the sizes, and sometimes I don't. I just open up a new mat and I just start pulling up a square and work from there. So I pretty much kind of knew this is going to be a birthday card for my sister-in-law, so I kind of knew what I wanted to do. And the cartridges I'm going to be using is the Art Philosophy, the Elegant Edges, and the Straight from the Nest. So let's go ahead and get started. So I've turned on the Gypsy and I'm at the welcome screen, and I'm going to tap the little Cricut bug and wait for the menu to load up. And that's basically where you're going to decide on, are you opening as a template, your new project, open a previous project, and so forth. So I'm not opening as a template because I actually don't have this card that I'm going to be making as a template. So I'm going to click on New Project. And if you have the Baby Bug or the Cricut Create, you'll choose your 6x12 or 12x6 mat. I have the Cricut Expression, so I'm going to be choosing the 12x12. You can also use the 24x12 with the Cricut Expression. So I'm going to tap on that, and I'm at layer 1, which is, and at my mat. So the first thing I need to do is I need to get my card on the mat. So for my card, I am using the Elegant Edges, and we are using, let's see, the frame that is on page 61. So zoom back because I don't want to put the handbook in everybody's face. So this is the handbook, and we're going to be using this card. So let's go ahead and get to our Gypsy and bring that up. So first thing I need to do is I'm going to put in my height, and because I want to make this a 5.5 by 5.5 inch card, I need to take my aspect ratio button off. So I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to put on my real dial size, and I'm going to click in the height, and forgive me if I said click, tap, same thing, and then tap my number pad and tap 5.50 or 5.5 is fine. And then I'm going to click to get my overlay. So now the next thing I need to do is, it's bringing up the last thing that I worked on, and the last thing that I worked on was the Planting School Book, but I want to get the Elegant Edges cartridge. So I have mine set to only bring up my linked cartridges, not all of the cartridges. So we want to go and find the Elegant Edges, and I'm going to tap on that. And I know from looking at my handbook that I need to go to key 41, because that's what I have up here in the right corner. And also you can see it down here on this handbook. Not all the handbooks were set up like that. So what I'm looking for is, I want to get the card, or they're calling it bird 4 right here. So I need to hit the shift and key 41. So I'm going to tap on shift and then tap key 41, and now I have it up here in my menu bar, and I'm going to tap on my mat, and now I have my front piece of my card. But because I want this to be the entire card, I need a second one of these. But before I do that, I need to make this 5.5 in width. So I am going to go over here, and I'm going to tap, and then I'm going to tap my number pad, and I'm going to type in 5.5 and then tap OK. So now it's telling me that my height is 5.5 and my width is 5.5. And as I said, this is going to be front and back. So I need to, can anybody guess? That's right, I need to copy it. So I'm going to tap on my advance and tap copy. So now I have it there. I have 2 of them. Now I need to make them one on top of the other and weld these together so that it will cut as one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some what is called kerning. And if from previous videos I said that you could go up to here and type in your kerning amount, I don't like doing that. I just prefer to just tap, and then I keep tapping. And I'm going to bring this up, and you can see that now it's like yellow and blue. That means they're right on top of each other. Now you would think that I could do a flip, but that didn't work when I tried it before. So what I do is just keep going, clicking my up until I get it exactly where I want it. Like so. So now it looks like this. But I need to make sure that these 2 are together, because just because I had them on top of each other does not mean that they are together. So what I need to do is group them. So I've already got one tapped, so I'm going to tap the second one, and now they both are grouped together. So that once I tap outside of here and tap my group, if I touch these, they are now connected together. So there is exactly my card. So now it's time to add my embellishments. So what I want to put on top of here is, I want to put the little frame, which is right here, and I also want to put this frame. So I need to go ahead and put both of these on my mat. So let's do the first one. And the way we're going to do that is I'm going to tap outside of here, and I am going to make this one 5 inches. So I've typed in 5.0, or you can type in 5, and then I'm going to take my shift key off, and I'm going to touch the frame button. And then I'll tap on key 41 again and tap my mat and add that to my mat. So now my width is off because my width is 5.05 and I want my width to be 5. So I'm going to go into the width and then I'm going to type tap the number pad and then just type or tap 5. So now I have 5 inches height, 5 inches width. And then what I do sometimes is I lay it on top just to see, is that what I want? And that is what I want. So we can move this back over here. So my next one is to add my frame. And we want the frame to be smaller. So we're going to make the frame, the height's going to be 4.5. And the width is going to be the same, but first we need to get it on the mat. So tap your overlay. And this time you'll hit the frame button, which is already tapped, and your shift lock. And then tap 41. And so now I have my next layer. Now, the other thing that I'm going to be using is the straight from the nest, because I want to put a little wording inside my frame right here. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take and actually put my card together the way I want it to look. So that's going to go on top of there, and that's going to go on top of here. And I'm going to hit my zoom button so I can see where I'm at here. So that needs to go up a little bit. And then this one will go up here. And now I have it. That's how it's going to look on the front. So now we need to go ahead and put in my wording. So I'm using the straight from the nest, and I'm using the phrase that is on page 29. So let's bring up page 29. And the phrase I'm using is, "A little birdie told me." So that is key number 2. So let's go and we're going to bring up that cartridge. So first of all, before I do that, I'm going to bring this down some because we know it's not going to be that big. So let's just bring this down to 2 inches. And we're going to take off the real dowel size because I'm not worried about that. But I do want my aspect ratio to stay off until I can fit in the little birdie told me. So that is, we need to go to the straight from the nest cartridge. And we need to tap the phrase. And as I said, it was key number 2. So we'll tap key number 2. And as you can see, it comes up this big. Well, obviously, that's not going to fit in there. So that's when I'm dragging it over. And I'm going to go to my width. And I'm just going to keep going down until I get it to fit in there. And let me zoom so you can see that. And there we go. So I've got it in there. And we're going to make the height just a little bit smaller. I'll bring it up. Okay, I think I can go as far as 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to try 1 and 3. That works. So there we go. So I ended up making my height, my width 2.77, and my height 1.75. And it fits in there perfectly. And I'm also going to cut the shadow of this. So what I'm going to do is just come out here, and I already know my height is 1.75 or 1 3/4. I'm going to tap on the phrase shadow and key 2, and we know that the width is too wide. We know the width should be 2.77. And just to make sure, I'm going to put them on top of each other, and that fits. So that's it. Now that I've got my card designed, the next thing that I do is I start laying it out on different layers, so I create more than one layer. This layer I label as, and I never showed this when I went over the tutorials on how to use a Gypsy. If you click or tap and hold down on your layers, you get a rename button and a delete button. If you touch the delete, your mat's gone. If you do rename, you can name it to whatever you want. So I'm going to hit the clear, and I'm going to rename this to card, because this is what the actual card is supposed to look like. We'll put that back inside there. But now what I do after that is I start setting up myself some layers, because I'm going to have to cut everything on a different mat, because I don't want to go ahead and cut this exactly the way it is, because it won't be right. So I don't have to put anything back in again, any measuring. The first thing is I need my wording. So I've already got my wording tapped. So I'm going to go to layer 2 and advance, and then I'm going to just tap copy. So now I have that already there. I didn't have to do any putting the measurement in, making sure it fits, and so forth. It's already done. I'm just cutting it on a separate mat. So now let's go back and we'll grab the shadow of that, and we'll touch layer 2 again and copy. And I'm just going to put that down here, because that's going to be a different color. My shadow is going to be a different color than my top layer. So now we'll go back, and if you get confused because you've got everything showing, just turn your mats off, and then you won't get too confused. So next I want my layer with the bird. So I'm going to go back and tap and move that over to here. And if I turn it off, you'll see that I just have the wording in that. And then I'm going to get my next layer, and that's going to be, I end up doing sometimes you end up grabbing something that you don't want. So if that happens, I just kind of move it, get what I want. And I'm going to do copy, and I have it right here. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put it back, because I don't always get it exactly or touch the right one. And then, because what I want to do is I want to have one piece of paper with it cut and colored this way, or this frame, and then I want one with this image, but I want the birdie to be a different color. So, and the circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose my image, and then I'm going to do copy and bring it down, and then I'm going to choose my hide and contour, and I'm going to choose next, next, and then hide. So I will only get the circle and the birdie. And you'll see what I mean once it's all cut out. So that's it. That's how I designed the card. So what I want you to do is, if you have this cartridge and you want to make this card too, go ahead, set it up on your Gypsy, cut it out, and then I'll come back and we'll put it together. Now, there is one other thing that we need to do that I didn't mention, and I actually did show how to do this when I did the Gypsy 101 tutorials. When I took these two images, or took this image and copied it twice, and then I did my kerning to make it my card, I didn't weld it together. So even though they're on top of each other and they're grouped together, it's not welded. So if it's not welded, it's going to still cut them separately. So rather than going and redoing the two and putting them together and then grouping them and then clicking the weld, we're just going to tap on that image, and hopefully we will get both, which I have. And then I'm going to click my tap my plus sign to get another layer, which I've already done, and I'm going to go to that layer, and sometimes you have to hold it down, and then I'm going to tap my advance, and then I'm going to tap copy. So now I have my two layers together, grouped, but I still have to weld them. So what I'll do, since they're already highlighted and tapped, I'm just going to hit the weld button, and now they should be welded together. And to make sure that they're welded, I'm going to click my little preview, which is the eyeball, and you can see that it turns it red and this portion is gray. So that means it will now cut them as one piece. Hey everybody, I forgot one thing. I said I was going to use the Art Philosophy cartridge, and I'm using that because I was going to create some flowers to go on this card. So the flower that I've chosen to use is on page 48, and it's this flower right here, and that would be key number 48. So I'm not sure what sizes I'm going to use. So since I'm going to just cut these out and using probably some white or cream color cardstock, and then I can save them. I keep saying every time I cut these flowers out, I'm going to write down the size that I cut them so I know what size they were in case I decide to make them again. I'll know how big they're going to be. So what I want you to do is, if you have the Art Philosophy cartridge, you're going to choose, take your aspect ratio and put it back on, and I'm going to cut one at 3 inches. So I'm already at that cartridge, and you're going to tap the font button, the shift button, and key number 48. And there is one. So I'm going to copy, because I think I want to cut out 2 of these at 3 inches. And then I'm going to cut 2 at 2 3/4, so that would be 2.75. And I'm going to tap key 48 again and touch copy. And then we're going to do 2.5 and key 48 again and copy, and then let's see. We'll go down to 2 1/4, and then we'll stop at that. So, and key 48, and we'll do 2, which I could have did that before. And it doesn't matter that they're grouped together. So I'm going to move these up, because what I think I want to do, this way I'll know. I'll bring these down. I'm trying to get all of these, because I'm going to take a 12 by 12 sheet of paper and cut these out. So let's get one more there. And as I said, it doesn't matter that they're grouped together. And we'll get one more here at that size. I probably could squeeze one more in there. And I'll tap that and add another one there. And down here, we'll add 2 more. So, I can probably squeeze another one in here too. And one more in there. I'll just move that over a little bit. I don't think I'll be able to get one more in here, but let's try. Move these over. I think that I won't be able to get another one, but I'm going to go ahead and try. And we'll put that one there. So no, that's not going to work. We're only going to be able to get 3 up here. So, as I said, go ahead and lay out 3-inch, 2 3/4, 2 1/2, and 2. And I'm going to check and see, because I know a lot of people don't have the Art Philosophy cartridge. But if you have the Flower Shop cartridge, you can do the same thing with the Flower Shop cartridge. Let me see which key that is. Okay, with the Flower Shop cartridge, you can use key number 2, page 13. And you'll get the same flower effect. Or if you have a die that you want to use that will make a rose, you can use that too. So let's go ahead, cut everything out, and then I'll come back on the next video with everything cut and we'll put the card together.